250 years ago, this country was built on an idea that if you work hard and you stand behind what you make, it matters. That idea is still alive. Today on Red Truck Radio, we're sitting down with the employee owners at Waudena, Diamond Kote, and Taylor. People who show up every day and build things the right way, right here in America. Let's get into it. All right, Joe, Justin, how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. They're going well.
Glad to have you guys here, man, celebrating 250 years of the great old US of A, right?
Yes.
And here at Wausau Supply, we obviously have great distributed brands and vendor partners, but I think our overwhelming prideful products are Diamond Kote, Waudena, Clad, Taylor, and you guys are here to talk about Diamond Kote and Waudena. So glad to have you guys here. Let's just start out with this. Tell me a little bit about what you do, just in general. How would you describe your job?
Basically, I take care of Field 22, which does a lot of the little stuff, takes the little jobs off the bigger line. So I'm in charge of the personnel over there, making sure that everything's running smoothly, the quality's there, the safety's there. I run PL6, which is the hauncher.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of work over there, make sure everything's quality and safety over there too, and that's pretty much it. It's not really.
Yeah, no. Just for our audience a little bit. So PL is paint line.
Oh, production line.
Production line. Yeah, there we go. So 20 and 6. The hauncher. I remember before we had that thing in case there, it was a little loud. Not that case anymore. Huh?
It's still got a little bit of a voice to it.
Yeah,
But yes, they're working on it, making it a little bit softer.
very good. The hauncher does what for us?
It does all our shakes.
Excellent.
It does our staggered and straights. It does 7s, 9s, and 12s.
For sure. And as our audience would know, our dealers and our contractors, 12 inch is readily available through a lot in the market, but we got the 7 and the 9, which is unique to Diamond Kote. So absolutely. So a little bit in the day of life. Explain your role and what you do.
Yeah, so I work down at Waudena Exterior Doors, and I'm a production lead there, in particular on the unfinished line. So what we do is we manufacture exterior doors, and how we go about that is we get our jams, and when we get them throughout the line, we do our inspections as well, our quality checks to make sure that they are what they're supposed to be. So then we've had to put them together, and we do a lot of custom doors, a lot of cut downs, real extravagant doors when we're looking at the side lights, double doors with transoms on it, you name it, we can basically build it when it comes to exterior doors. So yeah, that's about kind of the gist of it, if you will.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to try to diminish it at all, but there's a lot that goes into it, believe it or not. Never looked at an exterior door the same since I've started working here.
Yeah.
And I understand how important they are. A person's house is kind of their sanctuary, if you put it like that. And exterior door is important to them. So when they're buying something for their home, we try to make it as easy as possible for them to install it, because a lot of our customers are kind of DIYers, do it yourself. So it's important on us to kind of put it together the way it should be, so they can kind of just plop it in when it's their weekend to do that. So.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. And I know I finally got down there. It's been a while, and a lot of things going on down in Waudena. Significant investment in automation.
Yeah, a lot of innovation, if you will. So I've been here for 6 years, and I kind of got on at an interesting time to where it was before the robots and after the robots. So I really got to have a firsthand look at the growth that the company has gone through within the 6 years. And not just in an investment into the company, it can really be, you could say, an investment into the customer, because it's just going to reflect in the work. And I feel like it has. With our new quality team, we've been really able to get our defects down to underneath 1%. And that's where we like to keep them. So I feel like the investment into the company itself is just reflecting within the product, and the customer is the one that's benefiting from that mostly. So it's been very exciting.
Yeah, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So what would you say in your role? What are the finer details that matter most in your role? You think about it. What's the most important? Fine details.
Fine details. Making sure we have everything we need to make the day smooth. Number one, the safety, the quality. Making sure we get the best product we can to our customers. That's got to be it, And make sure, like he was saying, it got to get the best.
That's 100%.
That's what we do here.
Excellent. Excellent. How would you feel that? How do you feel in your role? What's the finer details you're always looking for?
I just like to lead by example a lot in my particular role. I like to show up every day on time with positive attitude, try to do really whatever I can for the company that's really going to, that it needs me to do. If Waudena needs me in glass prep, that's where I'm going to be. If you need me in RKG, that's where I'm going to be. Whatever is really going to help the company. Another kind of stance I like to take is, we take pride in our work. We like to stand behind our work. So if you don't like it, if you're kind of questioning on the quality, Probably not then. If you have to think about it more than twice, usually is not a good idea. So that's just one thing in particular that we're really emphasizing is quality. Definitely quality over quantity these days. So for sure. Yeah. And it's just been fun. It's been a lot of fun building a door like that and then standing back and looking at it, realizing how much of a team effort it is when it comes down to stain, the glass getting set, and the right jams. So yeah, I have to say the details are important.
Yeah, and I don't think whether it's Diamond Coat or Waudena, a lot of times I think our customers, the homeowner sees the final product, but I don't think a lot of times they understand all the details and steps that go into what we're doing. So kudos to you guys. It's not always the things that people see. It's the things that are behind the scenes that are the smaller details. So what's something that most people wouldn't notice, but you always do to make sure that we got the best quality? Either one of you guys.
I'll go first, actually. Oh, so one thing that I really noticed and appreciated that Waudena in particular does very well is we follow what Jeremy likes to say is we find the right seat on the bus for our passengers. So if you may not be doing so well in this particular area, we're not quick to brush somebody off. We're investing in our employees by training them properly, finding them the right position that they will excel in. So therefore it will just reflect within the product, which it, like I've said, it really has. So I think just investing in our people is something that has been really good to see.
Yeah. It rubs your mind for you.
Well, go along with what he was saying is making sure the employees are trained up to the specs or what we expect out of them, and making sure that they understand, like he was saying, if you got a question on it, chances are it's not even good. We can't send that to a customer. I mean, this is good stuff. We got to send it the best.
100%. Nope, good deal. So I mean, there's good and then there's done right. And what's the difference in your mind in both of your areas? I think you guys have both really stressed this here. It's not always that it's just good enough, but it's done right, the Wausau way. How do you describe that in your areas?
Good's just not going to do it. It's got to be done right. I mean, it's got to be, we got the specs out there and we could go right by the specs or we could do a little bit better. So we always try to strive to do a little bit better, the best we can, for sure. There's always hiccups in the road, but we can get through that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How about the door side of things?
I'd say kind of the way we look at it, there's just tiers to everything kind of throughout life. But I'd have to say a lot of people like to use the word quality. I just say we're in the next tier. We are the top tier of our doors. You have your F-150s and your Chevrolet, and then we try to say we're the Lamborghini of the door industry. We're really just trying to be that anyways, trying to be that next top tier, the really brand name to where you're buying a Waudena door. It's somewhat of a flex, if you will. You should take great pride that you have a Waudena door in your household or whatever building you're putting it in. So I have to say, really holding ourselves to a higher standard, even better than just quality. We want to be that next tier of the top level of the industry. So I think that's really something that everybody's been buying into with down at the door shop.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, the industry, and right now there's a lot of economic headwinds that are there that make people have to question their budgets. So it's always great when the sales team has a story to tell about our products. In both Diamond Coat and Waudena, we've got a great story. It's not only about the features and benefits, but it's about that quality, that long-lasting investment that we're making. I mean, you think about it, most people are going to, want to put siding on their house one time or replace that entry door one time. And with Diamond Coat and Waudena, that's what they're getting, that quality, especially when it comes to a front door. I don't think people understand how much goes into that front door. It's like a piece of fine furniture that gets used very regularly.
It can really be used as a sales pitch, if you will, if you are selling your house. I mean, the front door is one of the first things you see when going up to a house. So it can make a very good impression or a very bad one. So
good point. No, good point. And that's the thing about the products that we sell. These are things that people are looking for a return on their investment. In both cases, the Diamond Coat and Waudena, our customers are assured to get that long return on their investment, whether it's the years that they're in the home enjoying it or when they go to resell it. It's a great point to say, hey, I have a Waudena door, I have a Diamond Coat siding on my house. So there's always people that, they rely on people to catch things. So in both cases here, there's a lot of technology that we can use to help us with quality, but it always comes down to people. So how do you guys, in your role, how do you build that within your team? So we're kind of working with each other to help each other maybe catch things as they go on. Is that the case for both of you guys with the people that work for you?
Absolutely. So you go down through there and you got to teach them the right way first, know what to look for. So if you've got an example of a bad project, what we will not send to our customer, you bring everybody over and teach them this is what we need to look for or something similar to it every time. So it's even questioned. It's going down the line. Hey, that board's bad.
Yeah.
We pull it off, give it an extra look. It's bad. It's bad. We're not sending it down.
Perfect. How about indoors?
Yeah, I'd say I'd like to give a shout out to Danny Dillon. He was the quality manager. Now he's the service and warranty manager, if I'm not mistaken. He's the one that really got the ball rolling with doing our quality checks and kind of giving us the blueprint, if you will, about how we go about what we really need to check for, which would be like our top 3 defects. So if you keep track of the defects that you have throughout the year, months, if you will, there should be a recurring defect somewhere within that. And that's where we really got to focus on, whether it be hinges, weather strips, sill, clad nosing, things of that nature. So by doing that, we've been really able to make our defect rate go down. So, and how we go about doing that is we just have steps. You got to do your job and follow the process. We use our visualizer, which is you scan your VDEX and it shows up every component that you need that is going into the door. So it makes it a little bit easier. Those travelers can get difficult to read at times, but like I said, with the innovation that's going on in Waudena, they're definitely doing their best to try to make things a little more simple for us to make our job easier and just overall give it better quality. So, but yeah, making those steps, following those processes, and I say just doing your job, reading the paperwork, and make sure what you're reading is what you have. So, yeah, shout out to Danny Dillon on that one. He really laid the blueprint for us.
Yeah, for sure. Glad to hear that. Danny's a great resource to the company, and glad to have him aboard. So, but I think it's important, as we continue to invest in technology, we continue to invest in people too. And I think a lot of times, whether it's safety or even maybe quality of work, sometimes people might be a little afraid to say to their partner, their coworker, that maybe they missed something or something wasn't up to the highest quality. But I think being an employee-owned company, having the culture that we do, makes it a little easier to say and have that expectation of one another that we're putting out the best quality product. Pride. 100% had the pride. Yeah.
And to your point, that's one thing too, that we're building a great culture down there in Waudena. I feel like, because a lot of people have that attitude. If they make a mistake, they like to hang their head. We're not going to come down here. It's a lot easier to tear somebody down. Down at Waudena, the culture that we created, we're building people up. We're going to build you up. So that's one thing that we kind of tackle head on. It's just, we're a great team. We're a great culture. Mistakes are going to happen, but what can we do? We can learn from the mistakes so they don't continue to happen. So that's something that we're really focused on, and I feel like thriving.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I would tell you guys, as we continue to expand our footprint, we're all the way up to the East Coast and West Coast now, and people don't know who Wausau Supply is. So really it comes down to, a lot of times a new salesperson will join us in one of those new geographies, and they're out there borrowing and trying to steal to get an opportunity for a job. And really what is going to make the difference on whether we get another opportunity to sell that customer a job, a siding or a door, really comes down to the quality. So it's very important, whether it's the sales team, customer service, our supply chain, really it's everyone has an integral step in what we're doing. So kudos. I think it's we look at, and a lot of times take it for granted, but we're a very prideful organization as employee owners. And it also means something to have something built from within, a state like Wisconsin so. What does that mean to you guys when you talk about you're sending these products out all across the United States? What does it mean to you guys and your team to know that that's something that's coming from Wausau Supply in Wisconsin?
Well, you go out to the community or whatever state you're in, you could really notice, being Waudena Doors or Diamond Coat, you really spot it. You know what to look for, and you're like, hey, that's our product. That looks really good.
Yeah, love it.
Oh, it's really something else.
Well, you see the trucks riding around all over, and I do quite a bit of traveling, and it's always amazing to be somewhere, New York, Tennessee, Alabama, Wyoming, and rarely am I out and I don't see a Wausau Supply truck running down the road. So, what are you most proud of in what you do and the products that you guys are producing? What makes you most proud?
Well, like I said, being a homeowner, I understand how important your home is to you. So therefore, when you buy something for your home, I understand that it is important to you. So we just take great pride in making sure that that product that you are buying is at the expectation that you have, which should be a high one, because if you're buying from Waudena, that's top of the line. So I take great pride in that. I take great pride in just kind of giving back to my community. I say we all kind of serve a role, if you will. I build doors so I can go down to the bakery and buy my bread, kind of things of that nature. You know, we all have a part to play within our community, and I'm just proud to be part of an organization that takes great pride in being American made and things of that nature. So 100%, that's Rosanna.
Absolutely. He said it all right there.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, well, good, great having you guys here. You know, the important role that you play in the evolution and the growth of the company. You know, we're 1,100 employees, and we all have a role that's very integral into our success, and providing these long-term value-add products to our contractors, our dealers, and homeowners is so important. And you guys have a massive part in that. So thanks for everything you guys do. Really glad having you here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So Joe, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. We're this is my first episode kind of doing virtually here. Sitting over here in Wausau, Wisconsin. You're sitting in our West Branch, Michigan campus. So appreciating you join us. And you know, over the years, Taylor has really grown to be a significant part of the Wausau Supply portfolio and offering. A lot of investment we've made in Taylor. And we deliver a very unique, differentiated solution for our customers. So really excited to have you on, Joe. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your title, your role, how long you've been with Wausau Supply?
Okay. My role is a maintenance manager here at Taylor. I've been with the company since 1991, so approaching 35 years. Started out working on the floor, building garage door panels, foam injection into entry doors. 2004, I became a supervisor for a period of time. Later that year, I entered into the manufacturing and engineering role, and I did that until 2013. And then I became the plant manager in May of 2013. And then in 2021, I became maintenance facilities manager, what I do it today.
Yeah, so I'd like to think that when you made that last shift here, Joe, that a lot of the plant managing went away, but I'm sure it didn't. So appreciate everything you're doing for us. But that kind of gave us an overview. How about a day in the life of Joe at Taylor? What does that day to day look like for you?
The day to day looks like ensuring that everything is running as soon as we walk in the door Monday morning. Making sure that all the equipment is functioning. Any issues we have with engineering support, we're getting things done, taking care of the people, getting them what they need. The main focus is, like I said, ensuring that the plant's up and functioning. I also help engineering in the urethane or foam core for our doors. So I work with our vendors and the plant here to ensure that that's one of the most critical parts of what we do to ensure that the door is full and meets all the requirements. So, and then just, you know, what do the people need? What do my colleagues need here? And let's grab a hold of it and get it done.
No, that's awesome, Joe. Appreciate that. And, you know, I think just as we go through the evolution of kind of this podcast here and getting to talk to all the functional leaders of the organization, you know, the one resounding theme that we hear over and over again is really it's all about the people, and heard that loud and clear from your role, Joe. You know, when I think about Taylor, and I was just over there, we had our shareholder ESOP meeting there. It was great to see all the employees. You know, but the one thing as I tour the Taylor facility, you know, the technology and the precision in what Taylor does, and you know, somewhat of a niche business in the fact that we'll do the stuff that nobody even wants to tackle. You know, I mean, I think our average run size is four doors, so a lot of variability, but along with that, precision is very critical. So where does precision matter most in what you see going on in the plant day to day?
It matters most in the punching and forming of our steel slabs and the urethane foam injection of that slab as well. I think that's really the key to what we do, and holding tolerance to make sure that the end user is getting the product that they need. Fiberglass is slightly different. It still has urethane core, but it's making sure that the components are coming in as we need them and machining the doors with the tenoners to a correct spec that meets all of our requirements.
Yeah, no, I could see it. I could see that all in action when I was there just last week. So, kind of continuing on that same vein is, I think it's easy to, when we think about Waudena, where the Taylor slab is then brought together with all the other components to build that finished unit. You talk about craftsmanship, but as I walked through the Taylor facility, I saw craftsmanship abound everywhere. So, what does craftsmanship look like in your role as you're seeing in the plant? How does craftsmanship come into play?
Ultimately, my team has to ensure that the folks on the floor are able to build the quality product that they need with the machines that they have. So, making sure that everything is in tolerance, or it's in the mean or right in the middle. So we have a little bit of fluctuation, being able to move and still create a good product without having any non-conforming parts. That's really the goal at the end. So it's a lot of just making sure that everything is in spec and as it needs to be.
Yeah, no, for sure. The other thing that I've seen over the last several years at Taylor is the integration of automation and technology. How have you, how has that impacted your job and really the job of all the employees at Taylor?
As far as a lot of the employees at Taylor, it's helped with some of the ergonomic issues. Robots you've seen as you were here, that certainly helps. As far as my perspective in engineering, it's actually we become more educated on what it takes to keep these things running and troubleshooting and understanding the ins and outs of the machinery. Ultimately, I mean, where some of the older machinery you can get away with changing to a different part or something that's close, doesn't have to be exact, whereas the newer technology, you have to got to know exactly what you're looking for in this certain area and basically make sure that everything is reading as it needs to and the same part needs to go back in the same place.
100%,
Certainly helps.
100%. Yeah, no, appreciate that. And, it's amazing to see as we continue to grow at Taylor and adding technology, but at the same time, hand in hand, we're adding more people to the business as well. So that's great. That kind of takes me into the employee ownership, which, is very important at Wausau Supply. I think it really differentiates us. So how does being an employee owner show up in your work and the work of the people at Taylor?
Shows up by obviously having the sense of ownership. Um, I look at things, and I know a lot of the folks here do, is, I mean, just as you would do at home, or you want to be fiscally responsible. You want to make sure you're making the best product that you can. The customer in the end, it needs to have the correct product on time. So that's really the way that I see it. And I know the lion's share of our employees as well.
Yeah, nope. And it comes forth in the quality of products that we put out. So couldn't agree anymore. Um, you know, um, I would say based on, just our portfolio of our proprietary brands, Taylor being one of those, there's really no room for compromise. So as you go about your day-to-day work, is there just something that top of mind sticks out to you that you just refuse to compromise on?
Um, I think quality. I mean, if I see something that isn't right, I'm not afraid to say, hey, this isn't how it should be, or we need to take a look at this. Or if somebody points something out to me, I tend to spend a lot of time on the floor, probably 80% of my day. But if somebody has an issue, let's just do it. Let's get it done now. Uh, take care of the problem and move forward and figure out a way that we don't have to deal with it again. Is there a fix we can put in place so we never have to see this again? Because then ultimately it makes things better, more efficient.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, it starts at the top with folks like yourself, Joe, and having that quality culture because we're really I think as a product moves through the line, it's really people looking at the product and maybe somebody missed something before them, and having the courage and understanding that it's we're not going after one another. We're really helping each other by kind of checking the work of those before us. But that takes a lot of leadership, and it takes a very specific culture. And you guys have done a great job of creating that at Taylor. So kudos to you guys. How do you see your work? How do you see your work connecting to the bigger story of American manufacturing? Today there's this big push to bring manufacturing back. I know when we acquired Taylor many years ago, it was in receivership, and look where it is today, how it's growing. But in the grand scheme of things, how do you see what you're doing connecting with the bigger story of American manufacturing?
I think we're building doors for America, right? We're helping, whether there's floods or fires or hurricanes, helping rebuild areas. Just staying, being in Michigan and in the Midwest, being a manufacturer that's sought out. People know our products all over the United States. I think that's huge. I think we're, helping build America. It's a great thing.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. And, it was amazing to me as I had some time to spend traveling around to our dealer base in Michigan. And one of the things I heard the loudest was about Taylor and the pride that Michigan has in Taylor Door, and we continue to grow that. And now it's really on the sales team and really the organization to continue to take that Taylor name across the nation and instill that same level of pride that is found in Michigan. So, Joe, I really appreciate everything that you've done for the organization, your time, your commitment, your development, your leadership of those that are coming behind you, because we got a lot of opportunity at Taylor to bring more and more value to the dealer network and to projects and homeowners across the U.S. So, Joe, really appreciate you for joining us. Keep up the good work, and look forward to seeing all the great things coming from Taylor.
All right. Thank you very much, Adam. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
Thanks, Joe.
Later.
250 years in, and the story of America craftsmanship is still being written. One product, one decision, one standard at a time. Justin, Joe, and Joe, thank you for being part of the story, and thank you for reminding us what it means to build something worth being proud of. That's Red Truck Radio. We'll see you next time.